Here's what's in the news now.
Attorneys for the man convicted of murdering 2 teenagers in Delphi say there are at least 4 big mistakes made in this case that they say should be enough to overturn his conviction.
Yeah, overnight, our 13 Investigates team got a copy of the information that was filed late last night. So Richard Allen is currently in prison, convicted of killing Libby German and Abby Williams nearly 8 years ago. Last night, his attorneys filed a motion to correct these so-called errors.
They say those errors, which include newly discovered evidence about detailed confession supposedly made by another person, a confession they say that fits with new testimony at trial about how the girls died. The defense also says Allen was moved to a state prison for safekeeping without attorneys on his side and without a hearing.
So the defense also says that the state allowed false evidence related to a white van that investigators say drove by while Allen was committing the crime. And the last issue is newly discovered evidence related to cell phone forensics.
Now, the defense does say because of all of these issues, Allen's conviction should be overturned, or at the very least, he should get a new hearing. And we'll also be watching today, expecting a formal notice that Allen's plans for an appeal of his conviction. We'll, of course, have more details on all of that tonight on 13 News.
A 4-year-old is recovering after Muncie police say he was shot by a sibling.
Police say it happened Saturday night on Milton Street. That's near Centennial Avenue and Walnut Street.
Chase Howell spent the day there and learned that child is stable. Chase, do we know how the 9-year-old got the gun?
Well, according to police, they found it inside this home behind me. And when they were messing around with it, that's when the 4-year-old was shot.
Juvenile shot himself in the chest.
That juvenile, police say, was a 4-year-old little boy. And rather than him shooting himself in the chest, Muncie PD would later learn it was actually his 9-year-old sibling who pulled the trigger. Police say it all went down inside this home on Milton Street just after 8 Saturday night. Investigators say the 9-year-old found the gun inside the home and fired it, hitting the toddler. And while the investigation is still ongoing, Muncie police say the appropriate agencies have been notified. I did reach out to the Muncie Police Department to find out if anyone has been arrested and to the Delaware County prosecutor to see if any charges will be filed, but I have not heard back. Reporting here in Muncie, Chase Howell, 13 News.
26 years. That's how long Indy's 10-Point Coalition has been working to prevent youth violence in our city. And earlier today, several black clergy members gathered to celebrate that big milestone.
The mayor and police chief were there too, and given the coalition's proven track record, they now want to expand beyond their 12 hotspots. Our Marion County reporter Lauren Kostick looked into the details today, and she shares the new plan to go citywide.
The 10-Point Coalition says the key to their success over these years has been collaboration. Now bringing back an old tool to help them target more neighborhoods that need help.
If we're having to put handcuffs on a young person after they've shot somebody or killed somebody, it's too late.
IMPD Chief Chris Bailey says his officers are trained to be reactive, usually called after an incident happened. But for 26 years, Indy's 10-Point Coalition has made it their mission to prevent those calls. Several of Indy's black clergy members recognizing the effort on Wednesday.
One group is not the silver bullet, to end youth violence in the city, but when we start working together and bringing, our different tools to the table, then that's when our city has been most successful.
Since its inception, the coalition has spent over 40,000 hours patrolling high-risk neighborhoods and connecting with more than 162,000 people. Currently, the team focuses on 12 high-crime areas, now looking to utilize another tactic, their rapid response team.
We will get called out by IMPD if they need us in a particular area, and we will deploy a team there that will be out at least 3 or 4 days a week in that area, trying to help calm things down.
A strategy the coalition used in the past and found success. Their plan is to first target the South Side, where a 14-year-old girl was shot and killed earlier this year.
We will assist other neighborhoods and IMPD in areas where we're having a lot of trouble.
Expanding their reach and decades of experience. And the coalition hopes to see this rapid response team in action as early as this weekend. In Indianapolis, Lauren Kostick, 13 News.
Tonight, a former daycare employee is charged with battery on a child after an alleged incident was caught on camera late last year.
Happened at the Kiddie Academy in Greenwood. Our Samantha Johnson went there today. She's breaking down what we've learned.
Joyce Perkins was recently hired at the Greenwood Kiddie Academy, according to staff members. But on November 4th, security cameras inside captured her allegedly slapping a little boy in the face. She told a detective the child spit on her, and she reacted, saying, quote, "I didn't hit him bad. I just gave him a little small tap."
But the video shows otherwise.
Johnson County Prosecutor Lance Hamner says deputies watched Perkins allegedly slap the boy hard enough to spin him around and into a cabinet behind him. Deputies say Perkins can then be heard saying to another employee, quote, "I had to smack him because he spit all in my face."
When something like this happens, we're very surprised.
Thank you for calling Kiddie Academy of Greenwood.
I called the academy Thursday. A staff member confirmed Perkins was fired immediately after the incident. The academy sending us a statement saying in part, quote, "Our academy has a zero tolerance policy for any mistreatment or inappropriate behavior toward children. We extend our sincerest apologies to the child and family affected by this incident and remain committed to supporting them in any way we can."
I think everybody that was involved in this investigation did the right thing.
Perkins is now charged with battery on a child, a level 6 felony. In Johnson County, Samantha Johnson, 13 News.
And we checked Perkins' records today. A court date has not yet been set. You can read the full statement from the Academy right now. We've got it posted online at WTHR.com.
And now to a push tonight to support public education and push back against a measure making its way through the Indiana State House. Right now, state lawmakers are considering a bill that could lead to a state takeover of Indianapolis public schools and several other school districts across our state. So essentially, if 50% or more of a district's students are enrolled in charter schools, all the public schools would be then converted to charters. The author of the bill says it's to ensure school corporations are giving children the best education possible. But a professor at IU Indianapolis told us this isn't the way to do that.
Schools will just close in the middle of the semester, or you'll have your kids, you work hard to get your kids in one school, and that school closes and you have to look for another school, They don't talk about any of that. They don't talk about how low performing several of the charters are.
The IPS board has expressed opposition to House Bill 1136. Now, we did reach out shortly after the bill was filed. The board issued a joint statement urging Indiana lawmakers to partner with IPS and community stakeholders to shape the future of education here in Indianapolis.
Activists are speaking out this evening about a bill that could make it harder to get a divorce in Indiana. We're talking about House Bill 1684, specifically impacting couples who share custody of children. Under the bill, in order to get a divorce, someone would need to have a witness testify that the marriage was irretrievably broken, or both parties would have to convince the judge. Domestic violence activists say they're worried this bill could make it harder for victims of domestic violence to get away from their abusers. Take a listen here.
HB 1684 is a terrible idea. Victims of domestic violence are not believed when they come forward so many times, especially within the court systems. This is going to have people not come forward, have victims not come forward to say what is happening in their home.
The bill's author, Representative Timothy Wesco, who represents a district in northern Indiana, posted on social media saying he introduced this bill after sitting in an Elkhart courtroom watching parents casually get divorced and running their kids' lives while mutually claiming their marriage was irretrievably broken. That was his statement there on social media. The bill has been sent to the House Committee on the Judiciary. Of course, we'll continue to follow that and see where it goes. This is already proving to be a busy session at the State House this year. There's a lot to break down, and it is just getting started. So you can head over to WTHR Plus, where I'm hosting a new episode of Crossroads Politics. Every week, we break down all the big events happening at the Indiana State House. You can catch new episodes every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. on our streaming app, WTHR Plus, which is a free download on Apple TV, Fire Stick, and Roku, and then you can stream it whenever you'd like throughout the week.
Helping first-time homebuyers is actually one of my favorite things to do.
Summer Hudson says TikTok is the most amazing thing to happen to her real estate business. She started posting videos of homes for sale during COVID.
There is a brand new kitchen with a gorgeous brick exposed wall.
Her clever account name is Find a Lot to Love. Her audience has grown to 222,000 followers. Hudson feared they might all be gone when the app was blocked in the United States Saturday.
Oh, when TikTok got banned, I felt an illness inside.
Hudson is relieved TikTok is back online, but concerned about its future.
I feel like there's a lot of apprehension from creators, business owners. Do we keep putting our money into TikTok and keep putting our energy into this platform that could disappear again in the middle of the night? And I think there's a lot of uncertainty with, what company is going to buy this.
Summer makes a little bit of money off people watching her videos, but the real value of TikTok is the exposure to potential buyers and sellers.
For me as a business owner, it's more of the marketing, it's the branding, it's the people finding me and connecting with me and saying, oh, I want you to help me buy a house. The kitchen's in good shape though.
Hudson says TikTok is the best social media platform for her, with the right algorithm to connect with her community.
I am so excited to show you this. It's on a cute little street.
An app that's home sweet home. She hopes to stay. In Indianapolis, Rich Knight, 13 News.
This cold weather is also dangerous for animals. Right now, leaders at the Humane Society for Hamilton County are putting out a desperate plea for fosters. Tonight, our Logan Gay shows us how a broken heating system at this shelter is complicating efforts to protect vulnerable dogs.
So this is one of the kennels that's impacted by the broken heater system. And just on the other side of this wall are freezing temperatures. That's why staff are trying to temporarily rehome the dogs on this side and kennels on the other side of this wall.
We need to get these dogs out.
Now workers at the Humane Society for Hamilton County are asking for help from the community after their heating system broke, leaving some dogs like this one shivering. The 11 kennels and cages impacted have a dual indoor-outdoor entrance, and even though they're closed, without heat, it doesn't matter.
We are asking the community to please come in and foster some of our dogs so that we can play a little bit of Tetris and move some of these 11 dogs into heated areas of the building.
There's a diverse range of dogs to choose from, big and small, old and young. Lily Darling with HSHC says the shelter is staying open late Wednesday to welcome anyone willing to volunteer and temporarily foster for a few days while the heating system gets repaired.
While they do have fur, it's not going to keep them warm in these temperatures. These dogs are going to be freezing.
Darling says with 130 dogs in the building, there's no extra space to keep them during a dire situation like this. She says this could have a terrible impact on the animals.
It could result in sickness, they're going to be cold, they're going to be achy. It's not a good situation. Think about how we feel when we go outside and it stings and it hurts. The way that it affects us, it's going to affect these dogs as well.
Carly Middleton says she and her dog Roger didn't hesitate to answer the call for fosters.
I loaded Roger up in the car and off we went and had a meet and greet, and we're taking home a husky named Phineas.
That is our community stepping up and helping us because we are doing everything that we can.
So whether it's a warm kennel or a warm home, Darling says the most important thing is that the dogs are safe.
If we can get these dogs into comfortable spaces where they are warm and loved and taken care of, that is the best thing that we can do.
In Indianapolis, Logan Gay, 13 News.
And we want to remind you, if you're planning on fostering or adopting an animal from the Humane Society for Hamilton County, want to let you know there are a few things you should keep in mind. First, they ask you to fill out an application on their website. You don't need to wait to be approved. You can go straight to the shelter. They also ask you to bring any dogs you already have at home. We've got a full list of the requirements right now. It's all posted on WTHR.com/SceneOn13.
All right, welcome back in. In a short period of time, medical debt will be removed from credit report.
That's because some research reveals that a medical bill on a person's credit report is a poor predictor of whether they will repay a loan. Allison Gormley is here with What's the Deal?
Medical emergencies are often unplanned and can cost a fortune. That's why effective March 17, 2025, around 15 million people should see medical debt disappear from their credit report. The rule will remove an estimated $49 billion in medical bills.
Medical debt is different from other kinds of debt because people don't choose to get sick.
Kieran Gopal with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau said that's one of the reasons medical debt needs to be treated differently than other debts. Another reason? Medical bill mistakes.
Debt collectors don't have the original records, or, because our medical billing system is so complicated, somebody might have already paid the bill a long time ago.
When the medical debt disappears from credit reports, the CFPB estimates those affected could see their credit scores rise around 20 points. To make sure your credit reports are correct, you can pull them for free from annualcreditreport.com.
If they are having issues or their medical debt has not been removed from their credit report, they can file a complaint directly with the CFPB at the CFPB's website, or they can file a dispute with the credit reporting company directly.
Making sure your reports are accurate and up to date. Now, keep in mind, this is not a forgiveness program. It just means lenders cannot use this information in the lending decision process.
Do you need to disclose it if you're applying for a mortgage?
I reached out to Freddie Mac, and they said that medical debt does not impact most mortgage applications, so it doesn't sound like it. But regardless, that's the ending statement.
Yeah.
That's a huge change. I mean, there are people who are like trying to get houses or apartments and they need a place to live and they can't do it because they may have gotten sick. So that can make a big difference.
I mean, when you think about it, a car accident, tens of thousands of dollars can cost you.
Yep.
So.
All right. Thank you very much, Allison.
And Allison's What's the Deal segment, you can catch her show streaming on WTHR Plus. Download the app now, Roku, Fire Stick, and Apple TV.
Right now, the Gulf Coast is still digging out after this week's historic snowfall there. New Orleans received nearly a foot of snow. That's something that hasn't happened there in decades. So since snowfall is rare in portions of the South, many of these states are not equipped with snow plows. So tonight, our Lauren Kostick shares how a Hoosier company is stepping in to help.
Here in Indiana, we know how to handle our snow, but down south, it's a different story. That's why a company out of Sheridan rolled the dice, sending down more than a dozen plows, and they hit the jackpot.
An unprecedented snowstorm pummeling the Gulf Coast this week. New Orleans, just one of several cities hit with historic snowfall, with snowball fights breaking out on Bourbon Street, and even a hockey match downtown. But when it comes to clearing the mess,
we're not a snow city, so we don't have plows or salt spreaders.
Now getting some assistance from a small Indiana town nearly 900 miles away.
When we saw that it was coming, we decided to get trucks and just head down there, and figured that once the weather starts, we would find work.
And they sure did. Ashley Pettit-Gabi with Sherco said the Sheridan-based company landed a contract with the city of New Orleans on Tuesday. Since then, 14 plows have been making their way around the Big Easy. Many greeted like heroes.
You know, here in Indiana, they see snow, we're like, oh, yay, snow. Or, some people are upset because it's snowing. But down there, it was like a whole new atmosphere, and a celebration, an exciting news. There was, when they started doing the roads, they would see people coming outside to videotape them, to wave at them.
A community grateful for the Hoosier help.
It seems like it paid off big time.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And the company just sent down another 15 plows to give those crews some relief and also replace some of the plows that were damaged. And right now their plan is to work through the weekend. In Indianapolis, Lauren Kostick, 13 News.
Lauren learned the city of New Orleans is paying $500 an hour for 14 plows. That's about $170,000 for 24 hours of plowing. That Indiana company also has crews in Jefferson Parish and a couple of crews in Florida where they also got some snow.
They need it.
They sure did. I mean, boy, the Panhandle, they just don't see that kind of
They
snow.
really don't.
They were among the thousands of people from across the country watching inauguration events in person, and that includes families from Indiana. They talked with our Anna Chalker today about witnessing history.
There's hundreds and hundreds of people in this place.
Inside this Washington, D.C. restaurant,
It was shoulder to shoulder. All the tables, seats were filled.
hundreds of Hoosiers gathered to watch the inauguration live.
I can't even describe the feeling. There are major crowds, more people than I could ever imagine here.
Many tell us they planned on going to D.C. weeks ago, and when they heard the ceremony was being moved inside, some, like State Representative Corey Criswell, still came to experience it.
It's been unbelievable, kind of with everything changing in a matter of days, kind of everybody's plans, but it's been unbelievable. So glad we still came. And
While he was at the Indiana Society presidential inaugural ball, other Hoosiers like Terry Marks were trying to get a spot inside the Capital One Arena.
So we came with the anticipation that we were going to see something exciting, and we did not. We stood in lines for a while.
Even though she and her sister didn't get in, they were still able to watch at a local party.
To be with everybody who is thinking the same thing and so excited.
Excitement these Hoosiers want to bring back to Indiana.
You know, we all want to work together. We just want to make our city, our state, our country better.
That was Anna Chalker reporting for us. Now, some Hoosiers were there to watch the inauguration today, and 140 Indiana National Guard soldiers went to D.C. to help with security. In a world where division seems to grow deeper by the day, two filmmakers from Indiana are tonight pushing for more common ground. We want you to meet Nathaniel Paul and Jillian Speece. You may know the husband and wife as the pop duo The Bergamot. They also created an award-winning documentary, State of the Unity, exploring America's political and social divides leading up to the election back in 2016. And now, in this election cycle, they have felt called to do more. Our Anne-Marie Tiernan shows us they've embarked on a second film project in a new way.
Now is the perfect time, the filmmakers believe, to remind us of a unity mindset.
Right now, we only have two choices, us or them.
There's clearly this current social crisis in our society, economic, political, social, is dividing people and people are getting hurt.
Their first project took 8 years to finish. To make the film State of the Unity, Nathaniel and Jillian traveled to all 50 states, talking with Americans before the political conventions of 2016.
Well, America has always been a very raucous country. I mean, we're an immigrant nation, so we've always been a cauldron. That is America.
The doc, which discusses the value of a togetherness focus, won accolades. And so now, in this more recent political season, they opted to go back out and check on temperaments.
With a documentary, you don't get to choose the subject matter, you just get to go and shoot. And what we're finding is that people are a little bit more distant, a little bit more, detached from the process, and that's becoming part of the story. Isolationism, tribalism, depression. These are all things that are like resonating on a much higher level.
We want to really show people this is the problem, and it's like a very large problem.
The couple says they found coast to coast, many people are working multiple jobs, struggling to survive, and pausing to think of or connect with others is just too much.
This journey has changed my life forever. Like, I can never go back. I can never unsee or unhear what I've heard.
A solution they believe is an intentional focus on empathy, connection, and action.
Never negate how powerful you are as an individual to create positive change or negative change.
Bad times are always marked by good people doing nothing. So if you feel like you have something you want to do and it's for the betterment of society, culture, why shouldn't you go out there and fight for it?
The thing that I've realized on the ground is that we are all Americans. We're trying to get to a lot of the same outcomes. Like, we all want to be free, we all want to be safe, we all want to be able to share and give love, and that it's so important now more than ever to just love people where they're at.
It doesn't always lead to resolution. It doesn't always lead to like perfection and happiness and joy. It sometimes just leads to this understanding that it's not about a shared narrative of a future. It's a narrative of a shared future, a future in which we can sit together regardless of our angers and our frustrations and not agreeing, but yet we can still work together.
This is a message and a project they're now pitching to investors.
The first film was made with us sleeping in our cars, putting $60,000 on a credit card in debt. So we can't do that. We have to be a little bit more thoughtful about how films are made.
They've already written this song. It'll be featured in the soundtrack. hoping their music and filmmaking inspires audiences.
But that future is not going to come if we just sit back and hope for it to just manifest into our lives. We have to make that future, and that requires work.
And that's what this duo says they're doing right now, hoping to have State of the Unity Finding America ready for screening in 2 years.
So we may be a divided nation, but they strongly believe our common humanity can still bring us together. On this day, we want to celebrate the life and legacy of civil rights icon Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King continues to inspire people around the world, including some of the youngest right here in our city. Hundreds of kids and their parents came out to the Madam C.J. Walker Legacy Center wanting to give back. All of this put together by the nonprofit Seeds of Caring. Kids between the ages of 2 and 12 made care packages and then took part in activities, things like reflecting on their dreams for the world.
You see somebody having a bad day, then you can try to, you can ask them how you can help them. And so even those small things can make a big difference.
What a great outlook. Families also gathered at the Children's Museum of Indianapolis to honor Dr. King. They had special programs and musical performances. That event also provided an opportunity for Hoosiers to learn how to get involved with their communities. Museum leaders tell us this is one of their largest events of the year.
The Colts have a new defensive coordinator known as the Mad Scientist. Colts fans like the sound of that. This comes after the team failed to win the AFC South and missed the playoffs yet again. Several reports say the Colts are hiring former Bengals defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo. He was let go by Cincinnati at the end of the season. He helped lead the Bengals to the Super Bowl a couple years ago. The Colts, you know by now, fired defensive coordinator Gus Bradley after the team ranked 29th in total defense last season.
Caitlin Clark is celebrating her 23rd birthday by giving back to thousands of kids across the country. The Caitlin Clark Foundation is giving 22,000 brand new children's books to programs that serve those children. And it's all thanks to a donation from Scholastic. The books will be given out nationwide with a big focus on Clark's home state of Iowa and here in Indiana as well, which of course is her current home.